Today, we're diving into a particularly twisted form of manipulation. It's one that takes the best part of you, your love for others, and turns it into a weapon against you. We're going to unpack the mechanics of how someone can literally use the people you care about most to control your choices. You can handle any threat to yourself, but they targeted your child, your family, or your finances. Why does the cost shift from you to your loved ones? This is the dark psychological paradox of the emotional hostage tactic, a strategy that weaponizes your protective instincts. That question right there, it gets to the very heart of a coercive strategy that is as powerful as it is cruel. And understanding it is the first step toward dismantling it for good.
So here's our game plan for breaking this down. First, we'll look at the core conflict, what we're calling the protector's paradox. Then we'll define the tactic itself. After that, we'll get into the weeds with the three-stage manipulation process. We'll explore the psychology behind it, and then, most importantly, we'll talk about how to build a defense, your factual shield, and reclaim true protection.
All right, let's jump right into our first section, the protector's paradox. The whole tactic really hinges on this cruel twist. Your love, your loyalty, your gut instinct to protect the people you care about, these are your greatest strengths, right? But a manipulator doesn't see strength, they see leverage. They take that deep, powerful virtue and turn it into your single biggest liability.
So what do we actually call this thing? It's really important to give it a name, because naming something is the first step to taking away its power. We're going to move past the emotional fallout for a minute and just look at the cold, hard architecture of this manipulation.
It's called the emotional hostage tactic, or EHT. And let's be crystal clear, this isn't just about argument. It's a calculated form of coercive control. The manipulator is taking your natural, healthy instinct to protect someone else, the hostage, and using it as a lever to force you to do what they want, and, maybe even more importantly, to crush your own autonomy.
And you'll start to see some clear signs when this is in play. It's all about weaponizing love and loyalty. And the really insidious part, the more you care about the person being used as a hostage, the more effective this tactic is. The manipulator literally turns your most cherished relationship into a leash. This pattern is often a go-to for individuals with strong narcissistic or psychopathic traits because they are masters at finding and exploiting these emotional pressure points.
So that brings us to the core of this whole explainer, the actual mechanism of control. How does this work in the real world? Let's unpack the systematic three-stage playbook that a manipulator uses to get in your head and stay there.
The cycle pretty much always unfolds in these three distinct stages. First, you have the setup, that's vulnerability transfer. Second is the demand, coerced compliance. And third, what I call the lock-in, impunity and reinforcement, which makes sure the whole cycle can just repeat itself.
Okay, let's start with stage one, vulnerability transfer. This is the setup, the moment the game completely changes. The manipulator makes a strategic move to shift the threat. It's no longer about what's going to happen to you if you don't obey. No, it's about what will happen to your child, your partner, your family. They create a direct line in your mind. If you defy me, they will pay the price. And just like that, you're hit with this massive wave of anxiety and a sense of absolute moral obligation.
And this is exactly what it sounds like. If you leave, you will never see your child again. Their suffering will be your fault. Listen to that wording. It's not just a threat, it's an accusation. It's designed to make you the direct cause of their pain. That kind of language is built to bypass all logic and hit you right in your deepest fears.
And that, of course, leads right into stage two, coerced compliance. Faced with the unbearable weight of that threat, your own needs, your own boundaries, they just vanish. Your primal instinct to protect your loved one completely overrides your instinct for self-preservation. You give up your autonomy, not from weakness, but from a manipulated sense of love and duty. You silence yourself to keep them safe, which is exactly what the manipulator wants.
And finally, stage three locks the whole cycle in place, impunity and reinforcement. See, when you comply, it proves to the manipulator that the tactic works. It gives them impunity, the freedom to do it again without consequences. But it also reinforces their power and conditions you to see them as the all-powerful gatekeeper to your loved one's safety.
So why is this so devastatingly effective? To really get it, we need to look at the psychology at play. We're going to dive into the two conflicting mindsets here. The manipulator's cold-blooded search for leverage versus your powerful, primal instinct to protect. This really lays out the whole psychological battlefield. On one side, the manipulator is looking for the ultimate leverage.
a non-negotiable button they can push that shuts down all your rational thought. Their goal is absolute control. On your side, your brain kicks into a primal threat assessment. The safety of the hostage instantly and automatically becomes more important than your own freedom. And that's combined with this feeling of intolerable guilt. The idea that you could be responsible for their suffering is so awful that self-sacrifice feels like the only right thing to do.
Okay, we've thoroughly analyzed the problem. Now, let's pivot to the solution. You are not trapped in this situation. We're going to focus on how to build your factual shield, a strategic plan for getting you out of the emotional quicksand and onto solid, defensible ground.
The defense protocol is a clear, three-step strategy to break the cycle. First, you have to consciously name what's happening. Second, you absolutely must engage in external objective authority. And third, you have to fundamentally reframe your own definition of what it really means to protect someone.
Now, that second step, engaging external authority, is the absolute game changer. This isn't optional. This means getting a lawyer immediately. It means calling social services or child protective agencies if a child is involved. In a work situation, it could mean going to HR. The entire goal is to stop playing the game on their emotional turf. You drag the conflict into an objective arena and build a real, legal, and factual wall around the hostage that the manipulator can't just talk their way through.
This brings us to the crucial reframe. And this is probably the hardest but most important mental shift to make. You have to burn this into your brain. Compliance does not guarantee safety. In fact, it does the exact opposite. It only empowers the abuser. True, real protection is not about quiet submission. It's proactive, it's strategic, and it depends on outside support.
And this all leads to our final section, where we put it all together, reclaiming true protection. This is the journey from a state of manipulated submission to one of genuine, informed empowerment. So let's wrap this all up. At its heart, the emotional hostage tactic is the manipulative scheme that explains exactly how they use your loved ones to influence your choices. The abuser takes the person you love most and forges that love into a chain. In their hands, your greatest virtue, your desire to protect, is twisted into your greatest liability.
And the pattern, once you see it, is predictable. It always starts with that vulnerability transfer, where the threat gets shifted onto the hostage. And this is done for one single reason: to force coerced compliance, by creating a crisis so emotionally intense that it completely steamrolls your own autonomy.
But here's the key. Awareness is what breaks the loop. It starts the second you name the tactic for what it is. Then, by engaging external authority, you take the fight to neutral ground, building a real-world barrier they can't get past. That is how you begin to reclaim control. Ultimately, escaping this trap means making a fundamental shift. It's the journey away from reactive emotional surrender, which only feeds the manipulator, and toward proactive, factual protection that's grounded in law, evidence, and external support.
So we'll end on this thought. True protection is not submission. It is strategy, it is strength, it is action. So the real question to leave you with is this: how will you build your factual shield?